What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and alongside me, as always, is the other host, Dillon O'Brien. Dillon, how are you doing? How is everything in Dillon's world?
Dillon's world is doing all right currently. Dillon's world. What's going on in Dillon's world? Um,
How's the weather in Dillon's world?
the weather is it's kind of hot.
Mm.
No AC in my room. I got an AC unit. Turn it off for the quality of the pod. So
For
we
the
just got a
people.
fan kicking in here that you might be able to hear. And if you got a problem with it, I don't give a fuck. I'm already suffering. I'm already hot. And if I turn the fan off, no pod. So gonna have to deal with it. But in other news, I just kind of wanted to just kick off, get right into this. I know I mentioned like at the end of our pod last week, I was working on an article, 5 changes Triple H can make to immediately improve WWE. And I said be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk about it today, absolutely, but I'm not even going to release that article because Triple H is already doing more than what I wrote on that. You know what I mean? Like half the things I'm pretty sure 3 of the things on that article are like already being addressed. And I'm just like, he's already exceeding my expectations. We're going to talk about it today nonetheless, but you're not going to get that article. And instead you're going to get the audio version of it.
Yeah, and I think we both have probably been on record stating that with Triple H being head of creative, that things won't change immediately or super fast, but boy, were we wrong because things have changed quite quickly. And
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to like have the balls to make these kind of changes the way he has. I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it a little bit. I mean, what do you want to? Should we just start off with that, or do you want to just kind of go over Raw? We might as well go over Raw.
yeah,
It's fresh on the mind.
Um, right before we get into that, Triple H took over as head of creative. The first show he did was SummerSlam. And then we got the Monday Night Raw, we got Friday Night SmackDown, and then we just got this past Monday Night Raw. So we have had 4 total shows, 3 total weekly shows under Triple H as head of creative, and under, do you know if it's under TV 14 are the weekly shows now?
I'm not 100% sure yet.
I think just from watching it, I think it is because there have
Probably.
been some
Yeah,
things
because
that have
SummerSlam was the
happened.
first one, right?
Yeah, because SummerSlam was listed
Yeah,
as
and
TV 14, but
McAfee saying douchebag and like I
yeah.
don't know. You know what I mean?
So yeah. So basically, it's funny because I was like creating this list and I was writing down everything that like Triple H has changed in WWE so far, and it's a lot. Like I was
Yeah.
just sitting here trying to like list off things, and like it's a good amount. He brought a few people back, which we'll get into. There have been a few pretty big changes, but like you said, I can't believe he just had the avocados to do it right away because
Yeah. It's a pretty
he's
big
made
fuck you to Vince, right?
he's exactly, dude. He made some big changes.
In a way, it's weird. It's a weird fuck you to Vince. He's like also
Yeah,
doing Vince a favor because he's saving the company. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But at the same
So
time, he's just like, I don't know. It's just there's a lot to get into. We'll get into it, but
yeah, so to kick it off from that first Monday Night Raw, we can just go over some things briefly. But the first thing that I noticed was Tommaso Ciampa. He got a big push. He fought,
2 victories in the same night. How about that?
yeah, triple threat, and then he beat AJ. He earned a shot at the U.S. title. That match happened
Yeah.
last night on Monday Night Raw. It was a great match, but that's just a sign of
Bro,
Triple H.
dude, really good match. I thought Ciampa was going to win at certain points. I really thought he was going to win at certain points. Like going into the match. And it's like, and I will say, and it's like, I say that as if it's like, obviously that's what they're trying to do. But most wrestling fans know, like, I don't know. When it comes to wrestling predictions, I'd say, like, if you're like a fan like us, like, you know what I mean? If you're a pretty big fan, and if you're listening to this podcast, I'm guessing that you're a big enough wrestling fan to be listening to a wrestling podcast. we don't miss that often. Like big wrestling, it's not even. I'm not saying it as like a when doing predictions. We don't miss very often. I'm not saying it as in me. I'm saying it as in wrestling fans in general. Like I'd say for every one match that I predict wrong, I probably get 5 right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, but with that being said, I went into that match last night knowing, I guess, like in going into the match, I was like, zero chance Bobby Lashley loses. Hopefully, it's a good match, but zero chance Bobby Lashley loses. And I guess like I think there was like truly a part of me during that match that switched and thought Ciampa was gonna win. And that to me, like during a match, especially a match on Monday Night Raw, that hasn't happened to me in so long, dude. Like
Yeah.
during a match, my opinion on how it was going to end actually changed. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
it changed complete 180. It wasn't like a, oh, maybe this will happen, and I went from Bobby Lashley hands down 100% will win this clean to, oh my god, Ciampa is going to win this clean.
Yeah, and
And
I found
hasn't
myself
happened.
doing that a lot with like AEW matches, but
Yeah.
it's never really happened with Raw. And like I was
And it's
doing this.
hard, and it's especially on weekly programming though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
but yeah.
Cause I did the same thing. I was going into it and I was like, okay, I know Bobby Lashley isn't gonna drop the belt to Champa, but like when after the match started, he first of all, I was just hoping it was a good match that would get a decent amount of time. And it was a really good match and it did get a good amount of time. But there were points in there where I was like, dude, is like Ciampa about to win? Because Ciampa's Triple H's boy.
Yeah.
And I think it was once Lashley hit him with a spear, and then Ciampa, I don't know if he kicked out or if like the Miz put his foot on the rope, but I was like, dude, is like Ciampa about to win? And then Ciampa hit him with like a mean running like knee strike to the face, and I was like, bro, Ciampa might win.
Yeah.
Um, and that was a great match. I was really excited for, but that's just one of the things that's a part of the Triple H effect.
Dude, yeah.
Given NXT stars more time on TV and having them put on really good matches, and then B, just bringing some prestige and meaning back to these mid card titles because
Yeah,
they have
absolutely.
that little video package for Bobby Lashley, and it just really makes the United States title feel like a real, like legit, prestigious title that everybody wants. So I think putting it on Lashley is definitely the right call. I know we talked about it last week. That belt, that design was made for Lashley. So hopefully Lashley can bring back some much needed prestige
Yeah,
to that title.
I would really love a long Lashley run with this title. And in my opinion, you keep, dude, that's a feud. Like we gotta get that match again, right?
Yeah,
We gotta
I
get
think we
Ciampa
will.
Lashley again.
Well,
Um,
there's been reports that they're thinking about repackaging Champa to have him be more like how he was in NXT. So
yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
if they're
Obviously, he's not fucking. He's because he's not the Miz's sidekick. That is not.
yeah,
He is Tommaso Ciampa. And it's like the most annoying part about the entire fucking thing with Ciampa is they just did it like we didn't know who the fuck he was. Like as
yeah,
if we haven't watched him for years on WWE programming. It's like this badass motherfucker, and we're supposed to take him seriously. Like I watched this guy like wrestle with no ring, and like you know what I mean. Like I watched this guy wrestle on plywood with no ring in camouflage cargo pants and boots, and now you got him in this like bright green robe with the Miz, and I love the Miz. The Miz doesn't need Ciampa. The Miz is fine. The Miz is great. The Miz is fine by himself. Ciampa's fine by himself. I'm sure they're cool. I'm sure they're both respect each other enough to be like, yo, we're fine. Like we're both. I don't know. Just went on a little tangent, but anyway, um,
well, I think you're right.
repackaging of Champa is, and it's just like, and if you do that, then you just get another star. Then you don't have a dis. I mean, unless Champa and Miz, unless they were serious about taking over the tag team division, that's what I'm saying. But they're not.
Yeah, and I think it's just gonna lead to Champa turning on the Miz or the Miz
Yeah,
turning on Champa. But
it'll probably be. Yeah,
Going
something like
back to like what you said about how the most annoying part was like acting as if we didn't know who Champa was. That was a big problem, in my opinion. A huge problem in WWE
they do it all the
was
time.
it's one thing to like not acknowledge any other wrestling company, but you're not going to acknowledge your own like NXT brand because
No, exactly.
if you've watched Raw or SmackDown at all before, they would not acknowledge any sort of title, any sort of success that a wrestler has had in NXT. But that's something that Triple H put a stop to because you can like if you just listen to them, they have been referencing NXT and the success that the wrestlers have had in NXT. I've noticed it in the Ciampa matches. I've noticed it in Shayna Baszler's Gauntlet match. They referenced her winning the NXT Women's Championship. So that's something that's definitely it really bothered me. I don't really get it, and then because it doesn't make sense, like you said, they call
Yeah.
up wrestlers. We already know who they are. You don't have to act like there's some like rookie that we've never heard of. So
Or heard of.
that's
That it's the most annoying thing. Yeah, like, especially, like, I was talking to my boss about the same exact thing the other day. Like, he was saying, like, but even dating back to, like, and like, I understand it to an extent, whereas it's, like, business-wise, WWE, even though I don't agree with it, I understand their reasoning behind it. I think they just want ownership over all the names, so that's why they make everybody change their name because they don't want to, you know what I mean? Which is fuck them for doing that, but like whatever. Um, and but even dating back to like we're talking about like he was saying like when Seth Rollins first signed with WWE, and he was just like, "What kind of fucking name is Seth Rollins? Like that's Tyler Black. Like that is I've been watching him for 10 years as Tyler Black. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, anyway,
Yeah. So then those are two like immediate changes that have happened. Another one that I saw on, I believe it was SmackDown, Ricochet won clean. Another really good talent who has been criminally underutilized in WWE ever since he got called up. Another really good NXT guy. Uh, Also on WWE Friday Night SmackDown, we had a huge return, a huge, I guess, re signing of a former free agent in the form of Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross was in NXT for a while. He held the NXT World Championship. He got called up to WWE. They gave him some weird helmet and attire, and then they pretty much they screwed him. He lost to Jeff Hardy, I think, in like 2 minutes in his first match in on Monday Night Raw. So I believe he got released, and then there were reports that Triple H was trying to bring back some former talent who have been released, and then that same day, Karrion Kross came back. So it all happened really quickly. There's reports that he's listed as the number two heel in the company behind Roman Reigns. There's also been reports that he is going to go after one of Roman Reigns' titles. And there have been reports that he could be involved at the Clash at the Castle show. So Triple H is a madman because we saw him bring back Dakota Kai. He called up Io Sky. He brought back Karrion Kross, and then he brought back someone else who we'll get into later. But he is not wasting any time, and
any fucking time, dude.
I think this is the big fuck you to Vince is like bringing back these
All
talent.
his guys, yeah,
Yeah,
all Triple H guys.
the talent that Vince released.
Hmm.
And then because the Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai faction, Vince McMahon said, no, sirree, we're not having that. Triple H brings him back his first show that he is head of creative, which was awesome. Also, Shayna Baszler is facing Liv Morgan at Clash at the Castle. She won the Gauntlet match. That's another former NXT standout. And here's a crazy fact for you. This past Friday night SmackDown, the show is 2 hours. There was a total of 45 minutes of in-ring action. So if you count in some promos, the commercials, all of that, that's a decent amount. On the July 8th episode of Friday Night SmackDown, there were 13 total minutes of in ring action for a 2 hour show. So,
Jeez, dude.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Triple H, again, is not wasting any time. He brought back former NXT stars. He brought back people that were released. They're mentioning NXT, all of the success they've had. We've even saw Xavier Woods mentioned with the Viking Raiders their success. I believe it was in Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is always nice to see. That's something that also really bothers me is when they don't acknowledge other professional wrestling companies, because you can have teams or wrestlers come in and they could be like
It's
a
better for
five-time world champion.
it's better for everybody, dude. It
Yeah,
really is. Because then it gives these people more credibility that you don't have to build them up because they're already built. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And it's just like I don't know, it's just fucking dumb. But anyway, we don't have to get all into that. I want to talk about Karrion Kross though.
yeah.
Um Cross versus McIntyre at Mania. Do you think?
Um, probably. Well, let me see.
Cross
Probably,
versus McIntyre is going to be fucking awesome, dude.
yeah.
Like
And
awesome.
I'll be the first to tell you, I was never that big on Karrion Kross in NXT. Um, Honestly, I don't really know why. I know you're like not supposed to just say you don't like something and not be able to point out why you don't like it, but I don't know. There was something about it that I just wasn't really behind. There was a funny shot of when Karrion Kross came back. He came back in the final segment of Friday Night SmackDown. Roman Reigns was talking about his match with Drew McIntyre. Drew came out. Drew was spitting some facts, and then Cross came in and took out McIntyre. But like Karrion Kross's entrance, they shoot it with like a monochrome like filter, so it's just like black and white and gray. But it was funny because when they would cut to like Cross coming out with Scarlett, it would be like black and white, but then they would cut back to the shot of Roman Reigns, and then it was just like full color, so it
Yeah.
looked kind of silly. Um, but yeah, I mean, he grew his hair out.
No, did we lose Mark? What Mark was trying to say was he grew his hair out. He was probably going to pick up he's probably going to pull up a picture of it. This is what my guess is. Um, then he was going to show it to you. And then from there, we're going to talk a little bit more about Karrion Kross. I'll talk about Karrion Kross while we're waiting, though. Because I have an idea. While Mark fixes these technical difficulties, I have an idea for exactly what they should do. And it starts. Now, hear me out. I'm a big Roman guy. It starts with Drew McIntyre winning at Clash in the Castle. Gotta have McIntyre win. So we get McIntyre versus Cross. Rock comes back at the Clash. Rock versus Roman. Hopefully Mark comes back soon. But yeah, Rock versus Roman at Mania set up. You got another main event. Like you got two main eventers now. Mark, good to see you. Good to have
Yes,
you back.
thank you. I
Talking a
my
little bit.
Wi-Fi just took a shit, so
All good. That's what I figured. And
what did I miss? Happened while I was gone.
I was just talking a bit about how I think possibly the right creative decision may be to have McIntyre win at Clash in the Castle.
It's funny. I was actually just thinking about that when I was like trying to figure out how Clash of the Castle is gonna go. If there's ever a time to give Drew McIntyre a belt, it's gonna be at Clash at the Castle. I mean, the pop he would get would be insane.
And it would kind of be like you kind of owe it to him since he didn't get his Mania moment.
Yeah,
Um, and just for being such a good sport about the entire thing. Oh, seriously, because he fucking pretty much had his childhood dream stripped away from him in a certain way, um, which sucks.
yeah.
But I think dude, I think McIntyre. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I think McIntyre might have to beat Roman because I think I like putting a belt on McIntyre and then having him go against Cross.
Well, I was also thinking, like, is this the time to have Cross go for one title and then have Drew go for the other? Have Roman defend them both in the same night? Because that's how I think they should do it. Also,
Ooh,
Theory is looming in the background. Let's not forget he's got the briefcase. So, I mean, I think that's the way to do it. Would be to have Drew or have Roman defend both
what
titles
if
back to
know what
back.
would be the best, in my
What?
opinion,
What?
if Triple H had Theory defend the briefcase against Cross and lose it to carrying Cross.
I was
That would,
reading some things
bro. That would
that
be
how
the biggest fuck you to Vince McMahon ever,
dude, I think it's gonna be when he unsuccessfully cashes in. That's how I was gonna say, "Fuck you, Vince."
bro. I just don't want to
'Cause
watch another
some
unsuccessful
stuff.
cash in.
I know, but I mean, I saw some people say that they should treat the Money in the Bank briefcase like the I believe it is the G1 Climax briefcase or some sort of briefcase that they have in Japan that they can defend like that actual thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is like what you're saying to do, which I think they should. I don't get why they don't.
That would be
Um,
cool. Or it would be or something kind of like because remember how when TNA was like sick and they
yeah.
had and in like the mid 2000s when you could trade the X Division champion could give up the X Division title for for a shot at the world title.
Yeah.
That was like such a cool thing. You should be able to do that, in my opinion. Like they should have something like that. Like you can give up like if Bobby Lashley can challenge for the world title if he wants, but he has to vacate the U.S. title to do it, and if he loses, then he doesn't get it back. You know what I mean? He's
The
like,
only problem with that is I feel like it it's your wrestler's just saying like fuck this title, like I want the main one.
yeah, I guess that's true.
Um,
I guess that no, yeah, which is
but I
does the
think there's
opposite
ways
of
around.
what. Yeah, there's ways around it.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's an
I think
interesting
that's a
thing to bring up, but
yeah. I don't. When do you think Theory's gonna cash in? Because I don't
maybe
know now.
maybe Clash at the Castle. I think it's gonna be sooner rather than later. I really do. Um, I don't know exactly when, but I think soon. If not Clash, I like before Mania, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and so another big effect that Triple H has put into place is there's words that aren't banned anymore, as in professional wrestler and like wrestler.
Hmm.
Um, Natalia changed her Twitter bio to just wrestler, which is pretty funny. I think that's a big dig at Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah,
Also, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I know you want people, like you want your wrestlers sports entertainers, but you can also call them wrestlers. Like,
yeah.
I
It's
never
called
really
World
understood.
Wrestling Entertainment. Like the bit, like every yeah, yeah. It's because he's a weird, creepy old dude.
And then,
Anyway,
so on this past Friday night SmackDown, um, along with Shayna winning and getting the opportunity to face Liv on actually wait, no, this was on Raw. My bad. On Monday Night Raw, we had another big return in the main event. Main event was the Miz taking on AJ Styles in a no disqualification match. There are a few things I want to talk about on the Monday Night Raw show, but really want to get into the biggest return because I thought it was an interesting one, which was Dexter Loomis returned, but he did so in an interesting way. Do you want to dive into? Did you watch it?
yeah, I watched the last. I watched his return. I didn't watch all of Raw last night.
Yeah. So Dexter Loomis in the main event after AJ beat The Miz and was a pretty good match. You could sort of see that the behind the ring something was happening in the crowd. Excuse me. And then security grabbed him and they took off his hood and it was Dexter Lumis, former NXT wrestler who got released. He's back in WWE. It was also reported that they were targeting him, and then not that wasn't long before he actually returned to the company. I think it was only like a day or two I saw where there were were, but they did it interestingly because they didn't have a really good shot of Loomis. He didn't run in the ring and challenge anyone. Security just drug him out of the arena, which looks like he's going back to like his weird, creepy stalker gimmick that he had in NXT. There were also some like mysterious things happen throughout the show as well. But Dylan, what did you think about them bringing back Dexter Loomis in this fashion?
I think it's super fucking cool in my opinion. Very interesting. More
Yeah,
interesting than like I don't know, like this is how you do when you're gonna do weird shit. This is how you do weird shit. All right. Vince McMahon's idea of like weird shit in wrestling, and wrestling is weird in general. But like when it comes to shit like that, I'll say like like less is more. Less information is more. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And that's why I thought it was perfect. That's why they didn't really acknowledge it too much. The announcers were like, "Is that Dexter Loomis? Like, what the hell is he doing here?" Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? They just drug him out. They let it play. And we'll see how it plays out. Where it's like, that's creepier. That's
yeah,
creepier to the fans. Have this guy in a hoodie that ends up being Dexter Loomis get drawn out. Not like Vince McMahon's idea was of creepy was like sit there and tell you how creepy this is and tell you how weird it is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and I was definitely a big fan of it, and I'm very intrigued to see like how it continues, how it plays out. But I'm a fan of
Yeah,
bringing him back for sure, and I'm intrigued by the way they did it.
yeah, I definitely think that it was an interesting way to do it. I thought it was awesome because I was like watching it live, and I thought they did it really well because you could sort of see like back behind AJ, and like AJ sort of acknowledged it, but they didn't get a close up on it. And then, like you said, Graves was like, "Is that Dexter Loomis?" And then
Yeah,
um, they then like showed a better video on their Instagram of it actually being him. But like weird stuff throughout the entire night. I didn't catch all of it.
yeah,
I caught the one where it was Alexa Bliss and Asuka were like talking about the tag titles, and then Bailey, Sky, and Kai came in and just like Bailey just like done them and just made them look stupid, and then like they walked over, but then as they were walking, someone like full sprinted past them. There was like a car crash earlier or something, and then just like AJ happened to walk past them, and it was on AJ. So I think they were trying to build intrigue and interest without showing their full hand, and I think that they did that pretty damn good. I'm definitely intrigued by it. I know that you're intrigued by it, and the thing that like
know
is
how
good
they
about
should do it.
this,
Am
what
I? Oh, sorry. No, you go.
the thing that's like good about this is that instead of saying like this is Deximus, he's weird, he's creepy, he's a stalker. When you do it
Yeah,
like this, it makes you back in
yeah,
to the
exactly.
show.
Less is
Like,
more, dude. Like they just
yeah,
like give everything away.
yeah, and then it just makes you not want to come back because that's what the first thing I thought was like. All right, well, I'm definitely gonna watch next week to see how this unfolds. So
Yeah,
I
dude.
think that's something that they don't do that much, and that they need to do more just to get people to watch these week shows more.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, it would be really interesting, and it makes me want to. We're gonna do pods soon on like fantasy booking and how you know what I mean, things like that. Because I've got way too many ideas. We both do. WWE needs to hire us, but seriously, dude, Dylan and Mark for WWE Creative. That should be like our pod hashtag. Um, it should be like Burning Hammer for WWE Creative or whatever. Anyway, in my opinion, just based off this, it would be so cool if they build like that stalker angle between Loomis and AJ. And then, in my opinion, it would be so cool if like they had a Dexter Loomis thing where he's like I've been following your entire career, AJ. You know what I mean? Like you're one of the greatest to ever step inside the squared circle. You know what I mean? And he just like starts listing off like he's like you're a whatever, you're a 3-time world champion, da da something. He's like, you know what I mean? Just like shit like that just makes it like weird. Like that's how they
Yeah.
should do it. He's like, you're my idol. I've been idolizing you for years. Like shit like that. It would be fucking fire if they do
And I think like they should, if they do it like that, they should add on personal stuff that like only AJ really knows, or like stuff he
that.
did
No,
before he
yeah,
was super
shit about
famous
like his
too.
family and stuff. Like,
He's just like a
you know what I
stalker.
mean? Like, yeah, like make just fucking do it, dude. Just stop
Yeah.
being like just fucking do it. Because everything in wrestling has pretty much it's just like my thing is that it's just like to me I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what I was gonna say. They just gotta go for it, dude. Like don't I'm just worried that they're gonna like Triple H. My only worry with Triple H is that at some point he'll start to overthink. And I don't want him to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he should go with like his in like I'm hoping and I trust him to an extent to keep following his instinct and stuff like this. And he's in a much different position than he was in NXT. Because now he has like full power, but we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. But I really think they should just go for it and just go all in on this like Dexter Loomis stalker character, like make it better than it was in NXT.
Yeah. And that's something that, because there were reports that people were saying like Vince McMahon was like in control in the shadows of WWE, but those have been proven to have worked in the company. There's been reports that he is like completely done, like he is shut out. He is not involved with WWE at all, and he wouldn't allow Triple H to bring all these people back and do all these changes if he still had
No,
like
no
somewhat control
fucking
of it.
way, dude. No
Uh,
fucking way.
and they also, there's been rumors that formerly known, well, T-Bar of what was his weird group name with Mustafa Ali? I think it was something with an R. Retribution.
Yeah,
Um,
it was good in
T-Bar,
theory.
yeah, T-Bar, super good in NXT. I think he went by Dominic Dijakovic in
Mhm.
NXT. It's been rumored that he's also going to get re-aged. There's been rumors that Kevin Owens is
As
going to get.
Dijakovic,
We don't know yet. Probably because Triple H is smart and
yeah,
Dijakovic is a really good wrestler. If you haven't watched any of his matches with Keith Lee, they're incredible because those two, they can do things that men their size should not be able to do.
yeah,
Report
yeah.
There are reports that Kevin Owens is getting repackaged last night. I missed the actual segment, but I heard he beat the absolute piss out of Ezekiel.
Yeah. So I can talk about this actually because I did like a lot of I like in depth read this article last night actually just like for fun, about Kevin Owens. Or it might have been this morning. Regardless, Kevin Owens is like apparently we haven't seen him on TV in recent weeks. He was there last night, but like he hasn't been on TV in recent weeks. Apparently that was on purpose because Triple H wants to repackage him. I wouldn't expect too much of a change from the actual character of Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? I just think because you know what I mean. I think when he's been the same and he's so good at what he does. I wouldn't expect too much of like an actual change. I think just probably even just a push just to try to get him back on to main event level so they can keep, you know what I mean, keep him around as a main event star. Um, Obviously we know Triple H is a big fan um, of Kevin Owens. He had an extremely dominant run in NXT. I was even looking at what about one thing, dude, that would be so fucking awesome in my opinion. What if they repackage Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn together
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
tag
yeah.
team division
I
and they
saw a lot
fucking
of
have
people
them
say
win the
that.
belts at Mania.
It'd be sick. Yeah.
That would be amazing. But yeah, anyway, I just think that would be all. I think that would be fucking awesome. But regardless, I just think. But seriously, if you think about it, like, let's talk about that for 1 second. Who are you going? What tag team are you going to get that has a strong enough connection to beat the Usos? Like the only ones you can get are
That's
like, and Zayn and Owens, like you can build that to have like that friendship that like carries them through, you know what I mean, through to victory. Like it can happen.
Well, that's
Anyway,
the problem with, like, the way they're building up the Usos and Roman Reigns is, like, who do you have beat them?
uh,
Because they've
exactly.
essentially beaten everyone. It's the same thing in AEW with Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill. They've essentially beaten everyone. It feels like there's no one left. I saw a few things saying that they should do that with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And also on Monday Night Raw, Sami was like trying to talk to Roman, and the Usos weren't having it. And then I don't know if it was Jimmy or Jay. I still get them confused, but one of them was like, "Yo, you need to start to carry your weight if you're going to be an honorary Us." So then I was like, seeing people hoping that Sami Zayn would go win the 24/7 title. Look, I'm a world champion just like you guys, just to like
Yeah,
contribute, which would be funny.
that would be awesome. I love Sami Zayn. Hopefully, I heard he's gonna get repackaged too. Um, hopefully. But anyway, with Owens, yeah, he like fucking destroyed Ezekiel last night with like power bombs onto the apron and shit. Um, which it should it seems to me as if that's probably going to be the end of Ezekiel, probably the return of Elias eventually. Hopefully not with Kevin Owens, like in a feud with Kevin Owens. Um,
Yeah,
but yesterday I think it was supposed to be like you saw the type of rage and anger that came out of Kevin Owens in NXT. You know what I mean? Like when he attacked Sami Zayn and shit like that.
that
Um,
was. I just get goosebumps at that moment.
yeah, so like I'm not saying obviously it wasn't to that moment, obviously, but
Yeah,
reminiscent of that moment of that type of Kevin Owens. So maybe we'll get that back.
get the Kill Owens kill back, man. That'd be
That
sick.
would be sick. Yeah, just probably. They can do Kill Owens kill now. TV 14.
Yeah, T14. Did
Um
you see? Do you have anything else to add about the Kevin Owens thing?
no.
Um, one of my favorite parts about Monday Night Raw is just Rhea Ripley seemingly beating the absolute piss out of Mysterio every week. And last
Yeah.
night during the Balor match and the Rey Mysterio match, um, first off, Finn also won, which is awesome. He's another big NXT guy, so the first ever Universal Champion. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that, and we often talk about like where would Finn Balor be? He didn't get hurt during that match, so maybe that's another fantasy booking thing we can do in the future. But Finn Balor won, and during the match, Rhea Ripley was just dragging out poor Dominic, who was just busted and his shirt was all torn and was bleeding, and it was epic. It was epic. It always just
Yeah.
makes me laugh watching her beat the
Yeah,
shit out of him.
they're setting up for Dominic versus Ray.
They got it. I mean, I think, dude. I know
Did
I
you
said it
well did
last
you
week.
see the last well did you see what happened last night? Like
No.
Edge Dominic like wasn't going to like accompany Ray to the ring or something like that.
Hmm.
And Edge offered and like Dominic and then like Dominic was like, nah, like or no, and Ray was like, nah, like my like there's no way my son's gonna like leave me out to dry. I didn't watch it, I just read about it. I know it was something that there was some tension between Dominic and Ray. So hopefully Ray turns heel.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I said last episode that they
They're
should
not gonna turn Ray heel
do. I
though.
think I don't know, dude. If they're gonna keep having Dominic cost Ray these matches like that, I think that's a way that they can do it. Ray's being like, "Yo, Dominic, you costing me these matches.
Yeah,
What the fuck
it's just
are you doing?"
annoying.
Just
All right, so
turns me
my
on.
only thing, the only way I feel like the only reason I feel like they're not going to do it is because Ray's gonna get cheered regardless. Dominic's
It
gonna
is
get
true.
fucking booed.
That is true.
Like, so if Ray
Well,
turns
did
heel, that's
you?
gonna be awesome. Nobody's gonna boo that,
Yeah, that
especially
is
if he's
true.
beating up Dominic.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they just want. Maybe Triple H will just not give a fuck and just be like, "Who cares? They
Well,
fucking love it. Doesn't matter why."
they sing Seth's song every time he enters, and he's like one of the best
Yeah.
heels in business. I think
No.
people just
Yeah.
appreciate people who have good work. I think that's the way to do it. I think
Yeah. No. I
if
agree. I agree completely. I hope they do. I hope Triple H does. Maybe he will, dude.
dude,
I mean,
I
now if Vince was still in power, I would think there's no shot Rey Mysterio turns heel, but
yeah, and I think it also
there's a
is gonna
chance.
depend on like what Ray wants to do. Like, if he doesn't want to do it, then obviously Triple H isn't gonna be like, "Fuck you, you're doing it." Like, I think these
Hmm.
wrestlers will have a little bit more say and creative freedom. And that's also been reported that with their promos, it's not all entirely scripted. They have been able to get in some improvisation. I think, oh, what was at I think it was, I don't remember if it was SmackDown or Raw. I think it was SmackDown, and Drew McIntyre came out and was like cutting a promo on Roman, and then he was like, "Oh, Roman, the tribal queef," and like it
Yeah.
was so fucking funny. It was on SmackDown because that's when Cross debuted, and I just didn't want people to forget that Drew just called Roman the tribal queef, which is fucking hilarious. But
Yeah, that was. It was great.
um, one more important thing on my list here, and you could argue it is one of the most important things that Triple H has done. Is we have the WWE Women's Tag Team bracket. It's official. They announced last Monday that, or I think it was Monday, that they were going to hold the tournament starting this past Monday. We haven't had any single piece of information about the women's tag team tournament since like I want to say May. They said they were going to hold a tournament, but nothing has been done for it. Triple H, about a week into his job, said enough is enough. We're going to hold a tournament, and they announced all of the teams. Two big names missing are Naomi and Sasha Banks. Many have speculated that Sasha and Naomi are going to come back to win the tag team tournament. But first of all, I'm interested to talk about. Do you think that Sasha and Naomi are going to return at some point during this tournament?
Yeah, I do. I think they come back. I think EO. I think EO and Dakota Kai win, and then they probably come back, and there's probably a nice little um, 6-man feud if you throw Bianca in there too. Have Bianca and Bailey, and then have that tag team feud going on. I mean, that's fucking crazy. That's what should happen.
That's what at SummerSlam when like Bailey and Kai and Sky came back. I was like, dude, it's gonna be Belair, Naomi, and Banks, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
get. I
mean
don't
that's
think
what
they're coming back. Um,
really.
Yeah, I mean, there's been reports going both ways. Early on, there's been reports that Sasha Banks has requested her release and was granted her release from WWE. Has not been confirmed by her or the company. And then more recently, there have been reports that Naomi and Sasha Banks have come to an agreement to return to WWE, but that has not been confirmed by either party yet. There's also been reports that Sasha Banks' contract is set to expire within the next few months. So I don't think Banks is coming back. I think if her contract wasn't going to expire, then I think that there might be a chance, but I don't think they're coming back, especially because like I guess if they wanted to bring them back for the tournament, they could have it be like they take out a team and then they like sort of take the entire thing. So you have Tamina and Dana Brooke. You have Io Sky and Dakota Kai. You got Alexa Bliss and Asuka, Nikki ASH and Dewdrop. You have Natalia and Sonya Deville, Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark from NXT. You have Xylee and Shotzi, and then you have Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez. Sorry, she goes by Rodriguez now, and Aaliyah. Um, Sky and Kai beat Tamina and Dana Brooke last night to move on to the tournament. Who do you think is going to win? You said Sky and Kai.
I think so. I think it like I don't see how they don't.
Who do you think
Uh,
face?
Probably Raquel and Aaliyah, or possibly Natalia and Sonia, but I think probably Raquel and Aaliyah.
Dude,
Um,
I got I got a weird feeling that they're face Lions and Stark.
it would be awesome. It would be awesome.
I
Don't
could
get me
see
wrong.
Triple H doing that to like get more people to watch
Yeah,
NXT.
it would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. I just think they want to push Raquel. Um,
Yeah, I just think
but
her and Aaliyah are your team.
no, don't get me wrong. I agree. Um, I mean, most of these teams are kind of.
It
Um,
does. I do think the tournament does show like how lacking the tag team. I mean, they don't really have a women's tag team division, but I mean, it is this tournament does seem to be lacking some serious talent. I mean, Alexa Bliss and Asuka are obviously pretty good wrestlers. I think Asuka is probably maybe the best in this tournament. I think Sonya's
Io,
pretty underrated.
you don't think
Um,
Io's the best in this tournament?
uh, I think you can make a case for Io or Asuka, but
Do
I
you think
wish.
they're the top
I mean,
two?
yeah, I would say they're probably 1, 2, however you want to put it. I'm fine with it either way.
And
I
then
wish,
what? Kai at 3 and Bliss at 4.
yeah, Kai 3, Bliss 4, and then
Shit. Io
I think
and
Lee's pretty good.
who? Aaliyah?
Xia Li.
Oh, Xia Li. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think. No, I'm not like hating. I just think. I was just because, bro. I was just watching Io, and she just like, bro. She just like looks like a fucking robot out there, bro. Like she just like is so. She just hits every move so perfectly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
insane.
Like she it's that's what I mean. Like she just has like such a grace. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's fucking crazy. Um,
Yeah,
but like it's like like she punches someone in the face and it looks just as good as hitting a like moonsault. Like it's you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
she's
I
just really fucking she's just like overall I think she's just like one of the cleanest like wrestlers like especially females on the planet right now. Like just overall she just
yeah,
like she just hardly ever botches. I just never see her fucking botch, bro. Knock on
yeah.
wood. She's probably gonna botch next match, but
Well, the thing that stands out to me is that you have Io Sky and Dakota Kai. They returned, and they're immediately beefing with Alexa Bliss and Asuka, but you put them on the same side of the bracket.
yeah, I know.
So I think there could be some funny business going on the other side of the bracket because unless they're just gonna have Sky and Kai just absolutely destroy everybody, whoever comes out on the other side. But I don't know. I think there is room if they're going to do something. Maybe put in Banks and Naomi. Um, I think that
I think
with
Naomi and Banks just like I think after whoever wins, Naomi and Banks come out. Like I think Io and Dakota win, and then once they win, like Banks and Naomi come out and they're like, "What's up? We're back. Fuck y'all." And then like whatever, and then maybe they get like maybe they get fucked up by like the 3 of Sky Kai and Bailey, and then Belair comes out or something of that nature. It doesn't have to happen right away, but I do think Naomi and um dude, like I was just thinking about I think Banks wants Mania this year. Yeah, I really think Banks wants to be a Mania this year. I don't know. That's
who,
just my
who do you
opinion.
think she would face?
Um, probably, hopefully, she'd be a tag team champ.
Oh, you
I
think
don't
she's
know.
gonna tag at Mania?
I don't
I
know.
think that would be cool if
Yeah,
they have
probably.
like a really good build to the women's tag title match at a WrestleMania. I wanted to think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think they should. I think they deserve it. I think it would help
Um,
build prestige to the women's tag titles.
yeah. But anyway, I think they come back, but who knows? Honestly, I don't even really need to talk about the article, honestly, because we pretty much addressed it. I'll tell you guys the 5 things. Like, first thing was changing Raw back to 2 hours. Obviously, I know that's a little bit more of like a logistical thing than like a thing. There's like they got to go through the network and like all that shit. But I think Triple H is going to do it like within the year, like within a year from now, within 365 days. I think Raw will probably be back to 2 hours. I said there's got to be more wrestling on every program, and you literally just said it. 45 minutes compared to 13 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah.
Right there. We need more wrestling. Let guys go out there and do their thing. So we need more prestige in the mid card title division. I think they've been just pushed off to the side and treated like basically as if they don't fucking matter for a really long time. I think Bobby Lashley could be the champion to do that with the US title. I think it's going to be really, really dope.
And with
Another thing.
Gunther as the IC champ,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
He rules.
Bro, another thing I was also thinking, what about McIntyre versus Gunther at Mania
I mean, I'm
for
here
the
for it,
IC
dude.
title?
That would be
Yeah, that
sick.
would be pretty cool. So what was the other thing? The tag team division, dude. We need to improve the tag team division. It's starting to happen, but come on, let's improve the tag team division. Let's. It's self-explanatory. We've been talking about it for ages. And then the last thing, I think that was 5.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think they will
So
get. I agree. I think those are all really good changes. I think they're gonna put. They have to put Gunther on the Clash at the Castle card, and right now that card stands as Drew taking on Roman for both belts. You have Logan taking on Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and then you have Io Sky, Bayley, and Dakota Kai taking on Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and Asuka in a six-woman tag team match.
yeah, that match is gonna be awesome.
Um, did they announce that is Nakamura facing Gunther next week or this week on SmackDown?
This week, I think. Yeah.
That would have been sick to have on at Clash at the Castle. But regardless, I think he's gonna get a match
Well, I
on the
think
card.
the match at Clash at the Castle is probably if they want to do that, the match is Gunther and what's his face. Who's his fucking partner? Why can't I even think of his name?
Oh, Ludwig.
Yeah, Gunther versus Ludwig. Ludwig.
You think they're gonna
That might
split them
happen
up
at
already?
Mania. No, I think eventually. Maybe.
I think
Honestly.
it could. I mean, Gunther doesn't need him. I like them as a duo, but I think Ludwig is. I think Ludwig is very talented. I watched him a lot in NXT, but
And I think
I
that
think
feud would be so fire.
because we have already seen it with like every time Ludwig loses, Gunther just like slaps the absolute shit out of his chest,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane. But I think Gunther can get on the Clash at the Castle card. I'm excited for Clash at the Castle. I
Me
believe
too.
it's going to be on at like 1:00 our time Eastern in the States. So we'll see. We'll keep everyone up to date with matches as they get added to the card. Dylan, do you have anything else you would like to add?
No, that's it. I think I'm just really excited to continue. I think we started this podcast at an amazing time. Obviously, you've been doing it for a while. I reached out to you about joining before Vince McMahon, before that shit even came out, and then
Yeah.
all this, and then there's just constantly so much news now, so much new shit to talk about in wrestling, and there's really not a better time to talk about wrestling on a weekly basis, but also listen to a fucking wrestling podcast. There's so much going on right now, seriously,
Yeah.
and it's
We
fucking
could
get
probably
in, dude. Like
we could probably talk for days.
if you need a hobby, you should watch pro wrestling, dude. It's really fucking fun. And growing up, if you watch guys like Triple H, you know Triple H, the game, the cerebral assassin, the king of kings. Yeah, he's fucking in charge now. He's making the decisions. That guy. Pretty much everybody's older brother's favorite wrestler, Triple H. He's the guy who's making decisions now. So,
Yeah.
just saying.
It's a good time to
And
be
tune in every week to the Burning
That's right.
Hammer.
That's right. We release new episodes every week. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to it, if you're doing it via a streaming service, rate us, like the thing if you can like it, follow us or subscribe, however you do that, so you can get alerted when we release new episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Apparently, half of all podcasts are watched via YouTube or some sort of service like this. Like, comment, subscribe, drop some professional wrestling questions in the comments, and we will make sure to talk about it. And if you haven't already, go ahead, follow Dillon on Instagram at Dillon O'Brien 714. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at @MarkIzzo_wave. And make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All of those are at The Burns Hammer. And a big announcement. If you didn't know, we have a little website. So you can go to the link in our bios, and it will be there. It'll take you right to the website. We're putting up all the videos and the podcast, the audio version, and the actually just the audio version goes up a day earlier on the website. So if you can't wait, if you're itching to get yourself some Burning Hammer podcast, go ahead and you can listen to it on our site because it is up a day early on there. That's gonna wrap it up. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. And then make sure to stay up to date with all our socials, all the streaming services on YouTube, everything like that. I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.